All right, everyone. Michael Henck here with Thorn Brothers. Because the lake trout season here is getting close, I think today's the 28th. We got 3 more days, and then we will have lake trout season will be open. So Thorn Brothers here, we decided to kind of go over some setups that we use personally here, some setups that people that fish a lot of lake trout that come through the store use, and just kind of give you some kind of knowledge on some lake trout gear that you could potentially need for the ice season. Thorn Brothers custom rods. We'll talk about that first. We pretty much make 2 different lake trout specific rods. One doubling as a sturgeon rod. The first one I'll talk about is the Thorn Brothers Professional Graphite. This is a 42-inch pro graphite with full recoil guides on here. These guides all bend, so for those guys that are fishing outside when it's freezing up, these guides will get rid of the ice really easy for you. I believe this is a 12-inch Tennessee handle, so you can tape your reel on. We also build rods with reel seats on them too, so it's kind of completely custom. Whatever you like in a rod, we can build for you. This is a 42-inch. Again, length is a preference, but I like at least a 36-inch rod for these bigger fish. They throw their head back and forth a lot, and you need a rod that can really absorb those head shakes well. So this professional graphite, I use everything from up to about an ounce, ounce and a half tops. And then for my bigger baits, normally we're going to use the other custom that we build. This is a professional glass made here at Thorn Brothers. This one I believe is 46.5 inches. It's got a very, very big fighting butt on here. The reason for that being is so when you're fighting a fish, you can get your butt underneath your forearm here, so you get good leverage on the fish. Really, really popular rod here. Like I said, it doubles as 2 different things. It's going to be a heavy-duty lake trout rod and a sturgeon rod. Most of the guys that come in here that fish sturgeon go with the Pro Glass. It's a very, very beefy rod. It being a glass blank, they're normally cheaper, and they can withstand a lot of abuse. So heavy stick here, ounce and a half and up if you're jigging with it. Otherwise, heavy-duty laker or heavy-duty sturgeon setup there. So to pair with the rods, we'll talk about some reels. If you're fishing inside, it doesn't matter a ton. I just tell people you need something that's got a halfway decent drag on it. You're fishing big fish, and you also need a reel that's going to have decent line capacity. This reel right here is a Stratic 3000. For you guys that are fishing, 42, 45-inch rods on the Pro Graphite, that's about the right size for it. A 2500 will work too, but you're going to have a little bit less line capacity on there. The spool on a 3000 is a little bit bigger. Normally, so I like the Stratic a lot in cold weather. They don't freeze up much. When they get really cold, the drag is still smooth. You're not dealing with having to loosen up your drag because your drag's really tight. So super, super awesome reel here. Like I said, this is a 3000. 2500s will work well for you too. When you get into really deep water, say Lake Superior, if you're fishing 100, 150, 200 plus feet of water for these fish, you need enough line for them. And you're also having the potential of catching a 20, 30 pound fish. So on my professional glass here, I run a Stratic 5000. I know it seems really, really big, but you get some really cool benefits of it. Like I said earlier, the line capacity. There is a ton of line on this thing. I rock 40-pound braid on it. Really, really heavy line. And then the other really cool thing about it is it's got this big old power handle on there compared to your standard paddle handle like that. When you're fighting big fish and you're fighting fish for 15, 20 plus minutes, having a really nice power handle like that is really nice. Talking about line, I just use standard Power Pro. That's 40 pound on this guy. That's really big and heavy. If I were running a professional graphite with say a 2500 or a 3000 size reel, I'd probably run about 20 pound braid, and you could bump it up to 30 if you wanted to. As far as leaders go, I like to have a good solid match with my main line for my leader. So if I'm running 40-pound main line, I'd probably rock around a 20-pound leader on that. I really like Seaguar Blue Label. It's probably the best fluorocarbon out there for leader material. Yeah, obviously if you're not fishing big fish, if you're fishing 17, 20, 25-inch fish, going to like a 15 or even a 12-pound is totally fine. A lot of guys will rock 20-pound braid with 12-pound leader and catch some big fish doing that, so no problem with that either. Talk about some baits. This is just a couple of my favorite baits. I'd say, and a lot of this depends on depth of water. If you're fishing, 60, 75, 55 feet of water, you don't need a super heavy bait to get down there. And you can go with something like a 3/8 ounce spoon. This is a Castmaster made by Acme Tackle. A gold Castmaster has probably caught more fish for me out of Lake Superior than any other bait there is. So super effective for your 55 to 75, even 100 feet of water if you're patient enough and have good enough electronics to see it down there. One of my best go-tos, obviously, in the trout world, in the lake trout world, are tubes. This is a drop tine tackle. It's a Hunger Strike tube. I believe this one is a 3/4 ounce. I'd say that's my most popular size. You can fish it in 100, 150, 175 feet of water, and it's still going to get down there, and it's got a big enough profile that your electronics can pick it up pretty well. They do make this in a 3/8 ounce, a 1/4 ounce, and I believe even an 1.5 ounces. So if you're fishing in a lot of current, or if you're fishing really deep water, you can go up to the 1.5 ounces. And again, if you're fishing shallower water or smaller fish, you can drop down to that 1/4 or 3/8 ounce size. Last bait I'll show you that I use a lot for lake trout. All fish will eat this bait. It's a very, very good reaction bait. It's a Tikka minnow or any jig and wrap style bait. I know Acme came out with what's called a hyper hammer this year, and then also the tried and true jig and wrap. But this is a clam Tikka minnow. It's a very good reaction style bait. You're going to be ripping this pretty hard, looking for those fish that are going to react on it and go for that. This is a Glow Tiger UV color. The thing is extremely well glowing. So normally with lake trout, glow and white, and even your bloody nose type stuff. Those are my 3 favorite colors for lake trout for sure. So yeah, that's kind of Thorn Brothers here. We wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea on some lake trout gear, some lake trout tackle, stuff you need to kind of get set up for that. If you want to stop in and pick up a Pro Glass, custom order one, or pick one up off the shelf, totally can. Again, here's the Pro Graphite. We have those on the floor every day for you guys. So stop in and get your lake trout stuff. We'll be here for you. Thank you very much.